Well, thanks, Mike. Appreciate Mike being on here. Go Bulls. I was a big
Chicago,
Chicago
man.
fan back in the day with Michael Jordan, of course. But anyway, Mike Morice is one of my buddies, and he's been killing it. And we had him on our conference call last time to kind of go over things he was doing, and so it's now time to refresh and check in with Mike and see how he's killing it. I guess he's been using these the Bang Bang leads from my buddy John Davis, and has been really killing it. I guess what 100,000 issue paid in the last 5 months, right? And I think you've really kind of grooved into the Bang Bang leads, and we've been using Bang Bang leads from the beginning, particularly when the pandemic started, and they're really good. They're Facebook primarily, and then John expanded to other methods of creating leads, other social media platforms. And from talking to Levin Tovich, he said that John had made some very strategic investments in upgrading his people, his IT staff, and some things he's doing that have created some really quality leads for the price that we're paying. And so Mike's one of the guys that have really taken it and ran with it and just killing it. So we want Mike to, I know Mike has a video out there, but we want Mike to share all his real secrets with us because he's my buddy. And just a wonderful family. He had a baby. Dude, how long ago was that? Over a year ago, right?
Yeah, he's a year and a half now. It's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, year and a
Yeah,
half.
MJ, Michael Jr.
That's right, MJ, man, MJ, and your lovely wife Kate. She's
Yep,
integral part of the team, and
oh, for sure.
they all have a great background too, very in professional sales. So I'm going to let Mike rip, man. Tell us, well, give us your background because I think there are people on here that might be not familiar with you. Give us your background and how you came into the alliance and so on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me on here. Like I said, love being with you guys on here, chatting with your team. And it's always been awesome, dude. Just seeing you at events and just catching up.
Yeah.
I mean, dang, it's been almost it'll be my fourth year in the business this coming October, because I got my license when I first started in the business. I started part-time and I was doing pharmaceutical sales, traveling all over the country. I was having fun. Don't get me wrong. I was seeing a lot of cool stuff, but at the end of the day, looking where my career was going, the day that I started in that job was the same exact way position that I ended it almost 5 years later. So, going in for promotions or going in for, the increase in, the salary, all of that stuff, I kept on getting turned down on it from my boss. And, I had that situation that a lot of people get in the corporate world, which is the law of the lid, where you can only go as far as your leader, your mentor, your boss, your manager, that person you're listening to for advice in whatever position you're in for work. And I was looking at what he was doing and what he was doing during work and after work and how his life was and how miserable he was. I was just like, I don't want to be in that position down the road, what he's doing. And I really didn't get any motivation there. And I just got kind of bored, honestly, over there. And I just was like, you know what? I started looking for other work. And then that's when, kind of out of the blue, my aunt, Diane Lampy out of Dallas, gave me a ring and was just like, hey, Mike, how's it going? And I just kind of just chatted with her a little bit. And then it was like, no, like, what's been going on? You sound a little different. Cause I'd always catch up with her once in a while. And that's when she, learned about what was going on. And she was like, hey, I do, pretty decent, right? I'm like, yeah, I've seen your house. I've seen your cars, plural. And then it was, she was just like, hey, I have a get together with some of the guys I do business with that are part of, the organization I work with. Come meet some of them. So I flew down to Dallas, met Bell and Jake Krause, Stan Ulrich, all those guys down there that are just like kicking butt cross country. And it was just like, I couldn't believe the culture and the people that I was meeting, how helpful and supportive they were. It was like, I wasn't used to that type of support. So it's like a little weird for me at first to people like, hey, take my number. Like, you give me a call if you need the help. Like, you're in an appointment or you just don't know what to do, just call. Like, I'll help. And I was just like, okay, sure. And then I got my license and got introduced to everyone else in the alliance. And it just was like, it made so much sense on so many different levels, not just the business and career side, but the personal development side too. I started reading books, my conversations with Kate and our relationship just like stepped up and upgraded to a whole nother level. And, she always noticed every time I was going to these crazy alliance events and coming back that, I was like this new man, and our relationship just like blossomed even more. So, it's been an absolute amazing ride. I switched over full time after about 3-4 months from doing it part time, and then just been running across the country, finding more crazies that are jumping in the business with us and building it all over. So
now you're up in Chicago, the Chicago
Mhm.
area,
Yep.
and you hit agency manager. When did you hit agency manager?
That was last summer, I think it was.
Last summer, yeah.
Yeah, right around there. And we hit national manager let's see, it was I think in December and January of this year.
Yeah.
So January this year is when
That's
we hit
awesome, dude.
manager.
That's
so yeah,
awesome.
man, just getting after it.
So Mike definitely knows what he's doing. He's been with us long enough, and he's been inculcated into our culture, which has been really great to see him kind of progress and grow. And so he is like killing it on these bang bang leads. So why don't you jump into that? When you um, had you ever used them before, like sporadically before?
Yeah, and I did, and I made a huge mistake by not giving them more than just one batch shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's so many vendors out there, right? And you look at all these different ones and you're like, okay, yeah, that one sounds pretty good. I'll try it out. So with John, I think it was last year or the year before, I got like one batch from him, like 20 leads. I did the minimum and whatever it was. I didn't do great with them. And I was just like, no, this doesn't make sense. It's not working for me. And I, switched to the next one. And that was probably the dumbest thing I could have done, because I didn't create any consistency there. I didn't get the rhythm going. I didn't get the marbles out of my mouth, so to speak, to click with that type of lead. And it wasn't until I think it was the end of last year I started up with him again, like around November. I went to a Tony Robbins event like November last year, and that just like boom, skyrocketed our belief and everything. But I clicked with John out of the blue, and I got another order with him. I started getting some sales done. I talked to some people that were out there kicking butt. Jeff Schultz, Mark Hutch, Chris Manifold, all these guys that are just producing like mad numbers. And I was like, well, I can model those guys. If they can do it, why can't I? So I started modeling what they were doing on the phone. And I was like, all right, I got that part down. Now I need to find the lead source. And, I got one order, and then I did another order, and then another order. And I was like, the more consistent I was by getting these leads coming through every single week, whether I made 2-3 sales or 12, 13, 14 sales applications, whatever it was, I stayed consistent with it. And I think it was mainly because I changed what my goal was. Instead of dollar amount, I changed to activity. And that helped.
That's great. So describe to people who never worked a bang bang lead, talk about what they are and kind of where John gets these people, and particularly the targeted funnel expense.
Absolutely. Yeah. So final expense, I know he does some term too, but I've been mainly focusing final expense because I've just gotten a good rhythm with it, and I run them. But they're all social media leads. So whether it's coming through Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, he's got some websites that, the ads are kind of on the side that people click on, and they're filling out these forms requesting information, on affordable life insurance policies, final expense policies, whether it's state regulated. It has a few bits of information like that, but they're filling these things in, and they're filling them in with, the important information, the phone number, the address, the email address, date of birth, which is always pretty important, and then their full name. So they're clicking on it. They see the last thing that they have when they get the confirmation after they click on the form. That exact picture is getting emailed over to you when they fill out that form and it's completed. So it can be pretty powerful, kind of like how we have the direct mailers, right?
Yeah.
They go out, the people have to fill in, they see exactly what it is. Well, this is the same thing, just on the computer, the tablet, whatever. This is the last thing that they're going to see after they submit the form, is the information and the American flag and all that stuff. So you actually can show your lead or that client, hey, you remember seeing this American flag? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, now I remember it now. So
Yeah. So that makes it, you have the ability to door knock these people because you have something to show them, as opposed to some other of our lead programs. They're a spreadsheet or they're a Google sheet, and you don't have anything to show somebody that they had actually inquired. With the Bang Bang leads, you can show them, that final screen. But well, that's very cool. So how did you kind of start grooving into how to handle these particular type of leads? So tell us kind of your approach when you call them up, and do you call them or you door knock them? You do both? Kind of how do you, what's your mode?
yeah, I do both. And when I get on the phone with them, I'm setting like a pretty tight schedule for the week. So I do 30 appointments a week is what I set up. And when I go out in the field, I'm setting 10 appointments for that day. So that's my aim on every dial session. So like I said, I switched over to those activity goals. So 30 was my number. I do 10 appointments each day. Every time I go out in the field, do I hit every single person? It's funny, dude. I probably no-show more appointments than they no-show me, because I'm in an appointment running a business and I'm just passing that time frame up, which I'm fine with doing that, because I'd rather have, bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush, right?
That's right.
But
Love the one you're with, baby.
love the one you're with. But the funny thing is too about it is when I no show an appointment. So for example, yesterday, I had an 8 o'clock in the morning appointment, show up. I end up writing up a few apps for her and her grandkids. And, I had a 9 o'clock, but it ran a lot longer than I expected. She had to get her routing number or account number from the bank, all this extra stuff. And I didn't get out of there till close to like almost 10. And that's not typical for me. I'm usually about an hour appointment kind of guy. But yeah, I took a couple hours with her. And the thing was, I had to skip that 9 o'clock and I had to go to, my 10. So I just went to that 10 o'clock. And that 9 o'clock appointment, I'm going to show up there tomorrow morning. I'm going to go the same exact time. I can't remember if I told you about this last time, dude.
No, dude.
It works. It's so crazy. This is not going to be the first time I've done it, where I've skipped the appointment and then I show up on a different day at the same time. And I do business as usual. And it's so funny, dude, because I'll just be like, hey, it's Mike. I'm here. I was on the phone with you the other day. And they're like, oh, dude, it's so funny. Most of the time people are just like, oh, okay, yeah, come on in.
Yeah.
And then I get more of that than you weren't supposed to be here the other day. Dude, half the time they don't even remember anyway. Right. So if you show up on the different day and you set the appointment already,
you don't even acknowledge.
Don't even, dude.
Missed it. You just go in like, this is when I was supposed to show up.
Yep. It's like, I'm here. So, but
I love that.
I do it on, so I'll do, I'll set it on the phone. I get on the get the appointment set through the phone to go see them in person the next day. I only do the next day appointment. And then the cool thing is, since I have a consistent flow of leads every single week with John, I've got leads that will come through while I'm in the field. And this is pretty important, because what will happen is you get text messages of these leads too. So you'll get the text message with full name, address, phone number, and then email address. And it's super cool, because when I'm out there running, if I get a no-show and it's like 11 o'clock, my next appointment's at noon. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll look at all my text messages, and iPhones and Androids, I know that you can search in your text messages, right? There's some type of search bar that you can type in.
Yeah.
So on an iPhone, you can search. And what I do is I search the zip code that I'm in when I get a no-show, and it's going to pull up all those leads from Bang Bang in that zip code. And it tells me exactly the date and all the information I need So then if I need to look up a little bit more and want to see the picture on the lead, I can search that email address in that text in my emails on my
Yeah.
phone. And dude, it's all there. So then I can go knock on the door and say, hey, Joe, this is Mike. I've been trying to call you at your 773 number. And I know when you see a random number pop up, I'm the same way. You're not going to answer. Right. Right. So it's about, the new state regulated programs. I just need to get through some info, see if you can qualify for anything. It takes a few minutes. Is that okay?
That's so awesome, dude. I love it.
But I'll do it before I even call them too,
Yeah.
man. Like that same day, I've had people, this happened to me last Saturday. I had a lady, I got a no-show, but leads are flowing in. One was like 0.3 miles away. It was just like, it just worked. 0.3 miles away. I show up and literally the lady filled out the lead probably like 20 minutes before that. And I just showed up, dude. It was like, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you, and just like sat down with her, wrote up a policy. And it's so funny, dude. I get this so many times. People are like, yeah, we were just talking about insurance. And you show up at our door, Mike, and we took care of it, and so happy that it just worked out. I'm just like, yeah, I know it's
so cool.
It's fate,
Oh man. And so you're getting the 50-mile radius. Is that the targeted? And
I probably do a little bit more because I work in a few different areas in Chicago, and I'll do like the west side, the south side.
Yeah.
And then I'll go like Northwest Indiana. So some of those are a little bit further than that. But that's mainly because, I've gone to a bunch of different areas, and, if certain areas aren't working out for me, I'll switch it up a little bit. I'll drive a little bit further to go to that honey hole where I know I can just be reoccurring sales like a lot easier, because it's
absolutely,
each market's a little different. You just got to hop into it and see what works.
So I think the advantage of what you're doing is that you're in a consistent activity level, which means that you have a constant lead order going in every week. So tell us about kind of your lead order. You do that like every couple of days, you put another batch in, or do you have a regular day that you order leads, and how many do you typically order?
So typically I'm getting 30 to 50 leads a week. And when I do that, it kind of depends on how that week's going. So if I travel and stuff, it kind of throws it off just a little bit.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, like, I know my numbers really well. Like, I know that I can knock out appointments pretty quick over the phone, like setting up appointments.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what Kate has really been able to notice with me too, and help me kind of just switch my schedule up a little bit on what I used to do to what I'm doing now.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of created a ton more time. Not only just to be able to be effective with the time, but to also have the time with my family too. Where before it seemed like, you're just running so hard and you're like, I got to hit these numbers. I got to do these extra appointments. But, Kate made a really good point to me about 2-3 weeks ago. And she's like, you don't take a long time to set up appointments. So, why do you have like a day like Monday where you do your dials and then Tuesday you run, when you can take, the 2-3 hours? I mean, it takes me about 1 hour to get four to 5 appointments set. So I can set 4 or 5 appointments in an hour. So she was like, well, what if you just did dials Sunday evenings for 2 hours, set up your 10 appointments for Monday, and then, kind of freeze up, more of your Saturday with your family. And I was just like, that's a really great point. And I switched it up, and I'm still doing the appointments, 30 appointments a week. And now I just have a Saturday to go spend time with my family.
Wow. So give us your schedule. Like, what is your typical schedule? Like when you dial and when you run appointments. And so it sounds like Sunday, you do a couple of hours. When do you dial on Sunday? What times are effective for you?
So I kind of figure towards the afternoon and early evening. So I'm either starting like around 3-4 o'clock, or maybe a little bit after it. I don't do like the middle of the day, because for final expense and for my area where I'm dialing, people are usually at church middle of the day.
Yeah.
So I found that they're not answering their phones as much. But when I do like the later afternoon and towards the end of it, people are back home from church. If they're working during the week, they're not at their job so they can answer their phone. And I mean, I'm talking to a lot of people that are, 60s plus retired anyway. So it's like, I look at their schedule for the next day and try to set it up and make sure they don't have any other doctor's appointments. But yeah, that's usually about the time I do. And then Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are the days I run 10 appointments each day. And I do the
Oh, that's
dials the day
cool,
before.
dude. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. And because it's the next day within the next 24 hours, I'm sure your no-show rate is a lot lower than when you were doing than when other agents do 48 hours, like, that next day, like the Monday for Tuesday, Wednesday, I imagine the Wednesday is kind of out there, but if you do it the next day, it's more immediate.
Yeah, I push hard on that next morning. And, in my script, when I'm dialing them and I'm giving them some options, I make it very tough for them not to figure out a time, so to speak.
Let's hear it. Let's hear your script, dude.
So,
I'll be the client.
all right. So I'll be like, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, Alex. This is Mike. I'm just giving you a call from the benefits center here in Cook County regarding a package we've got ready to go out to you. And I was just making sure you're still living at the 123 Main Street out here in Chicago. Zip code is the 60623. Is that right?
Yeah, that's our address.
Awesome.
What
Awesome.
package?
Awesome, Alex. So yeah, pretty simple. My job is pretty easy. It's just to get you the info on these new county programs and go over it with you. So they have me out there in your area tomorrow in the morning, right around 8, 9 o'clock, and then in the afternoon between 1 and 2. Which one works better for you?
Oh, we have doctor's appointments in the morning.
Okay. So would the afternoon be good around 1 or 2, or do you need something a little bit later?
What do you have later?
Let's see. What time is your doctor's appointment? What time do you think you'll be back home?
Well, about 11, because we're going to go in at 8. So we'll be home at 11.
So safe to say you'll be home around 11, 12 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So again, my name is Mike. I'll be driving a white Jeep, and I'm a taller, good-looking guy with glasses, so you ain't gonna miss me. But I appreciate you, Alex. Look forward to seeing you around 11, 12 o'clock tomorrow. You take care. You have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye. Click.
Wow, dude, you just kind of rolled right through that. That's cool.
That's not the first time I went through it. Can you tell?
Oh, I can sort of tell. Wow, man. So if you had to say, it's funny you mentioned that show them more than they do, but
Yep.
10 appointments, just ballpark it average. How many people typically show up?
I'm usually sitting down during the day, at least 6 people during the day. So if I'm no showing some people, I'm missing some of them. I mean, not every single person I sit down with is going to be that perfect, amazing sale. And,
Right.
they may have life insurance already, but I try to figure out what else we can do. And since we have so many different types of products, and I call them programs with clients just to kind of
Programs.
take away
Okay.
from the sales side of it.
Yeah. Program. I like that.
I just try to figure out what makes sense for them. I mean, yesterday I sat down with this lady. She already had a really great whole life insurance policy that's taking care of all of her burial. And I started asking questions about, the cancer history in her family. And I already knew she had grandkids because I built that rapport. So I ask her simple questions and say, hey, would something, if you ever got diagnosed with cancer, where you'd get, anywhere from 10 to 30 grand sent to you in a check, do you think that would make sense for you? And I do like a soft close on it. And if they give me a thumbs up, yes, that's when I'll say, okay, I'll go into the numbers, and then I'll do the hard close on which one they want to get qualified for.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the audible I'll do if they already have something.
See, that's great because the lead just gets you in the house, and then we evaluate all the things we can do for them. And if we can do final expense, great. But if we can't, then we continue on with, hospital indemnity and cancer policies and other things, grandchildren policies. There's so many things that we can offer them, So basically what you're telling me, just on average out of 30 appointments, you're going to sit down with 18 people. And it's like, oh, geez. So, 9 of them sucked, but you wrote up the other 9, when you've got like 12, 13 applications. It's just, I think what you've figured out, and we always talk about this, but what you figured out and what you're showing is that you can't beat the numbers can't beat you. And if you focus on the consistency of ordering leads, making dials, keeping to a schedule, then it all just works out, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it's the consistency behind it. It's, something's gonna break, something's gonna crack for you. You're gonna break out of some shell to figure out what else you need to do to level up and get the results that you want. And if you're going to break and you're just going to break down and not continue to push through, then it's not going to work. But if you're going to break through it and figure out what you need to do to change and get the results that you want, it's one thing that I've always known is if you suck at something, you're going to get really sick and tired of sucking at it. And if you keep going at it, at some point, you're going to stop sucking at it and it's going to produce the results that you want. But it's a matter of pushing through all the stuff that sucks.
Yeah, and that's what all the top producers, everyone sees them because they're being edified and shown to everyone as the final product of how great they are. But what you didn't see was all the struggles and all the stuff that earned their way to that. And that's kind of the part that people don't understand, is that there was a point where everyone sucked when they got started, but then they got better and better and better. They earned the confidence, but you didn't let, the seeming failures stop you, because those are just opportunities to learn. Man, that's great, dude. So what, if you had to say like the top 2 or 3 objections when you get on the phone with somebody, what are you typically running into?
What is it is usually the biggest one. Way too busy. That's the second biggest one. And then why you got to come to my house. Those would be the 3, I think, that are the biggest ones.
So tell us how you handle those.
So if they come back, what is it? I go, it is the updated 2022 state regulated programs for Illinois residents in your age group. And my job is simply just to get you the info and go over it with you. So they have me out there tomorrow with something in the morning around 9, 10 o'clock work, or the afternoon between 2 and 3. Which one's better for you?
What's interesting is I don't hear the word life insurance in there at all.
Nope, I don't talk about insurance. I talk about the updated programs for Illinois residents in their age group. And I don't even give them their date of birth yet. Those are my cards. I use those as like the next objection. Because if they go at me one more time, so let's say they ask me that second time, and this happens to me, dude. It totally does. So they go, what is it? I go, it is the 2022 state regulated programs for Illinois residents in your age group. My job is simply just get you the info and go over it with you. Do you have time in the morning, the afternoon? Better? No, Mike, what is it? It is the 2022 Cook County or state regulated, whatever I'm saying, state regulated programs for Illinois residents in your age group, Alex. And I've got your date of birth here, 7/7/67. So my job is just to get you that info and go over it with you. They have me doing a ton of stops tomorrow. I'm already down the street from you. Will you be home in the afternoon?
I love it.
Say whatever they say. I got doctor's appointments in the afternoon. Okay, what time's your last one? 4 o'clock? Would it be safe to say you'd be home by 6 or 7? And then if they say, yeah, I go, I don't even ask them about coming by. I just go, perfect. My name is Mike. I'll be driving a white Jeep. I'm a taller, good looking guy with glasses. You ain't gonna miss me. I'll catch up with you in the end of the day. Appreciate you. You take care. Thanks. Bye. Click.
And it's very matter of fact, isn't it? You're very like, see, what I used to teach is that you don't want to sound like that really excited telemarketer because you're just happy to get someone on the phone. It's like when we were doing like primarily mortgage protection, it's like pretend you're at a bank and you're the employee that makes 50 grand a year. You've got a stack of 100 of these mortgage protection letters that you have to call to book appointments with. And it's like 4:55 p.m. The boss won't let you go till 5. And you got to call on the phone. And it's like, oh God, here's another one. Okay. Hello, Mike, this is Alex. Hey, listen, you know what I mean? It's like that. You're just processing, aren't you?
Yeah, I keep it cool, calm, collective. I just don't really get hyped up. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, dude. When I get someone answering the phone, I'm literally
Yeah. Absolutely.
like I like will literally do this when I get a phone answer, and then I'm like, oh hey Alex, this is Mike.
Yeah.
Give me a call, and
You
it's
know what?
like,
It's so funny. I used to do that too. My opening of my script is funny you did that. It's like, hey Mike. Like I was like his buddy, like his drinking
okay,
buddy. And they
yeah.
always go, yeah, hi. Like they should know me. They're wondering because I ask, hey Mike, like I've known you forever. And it's so
Mhm.
funny because they have that pause in there. And so you did the same thing basically. And I was just cracking up going, whoa, that's so cool.
Works, man. Just assume it's that person. Same thing in the door knock. I do that same thing. They answer the door. I'm like, oh, hey, Clarice. Well, like whatever it is. Like
I
Clarice. I don't know
know.
why I said that. But yeah, whatever that person's on a lead, I totally assume it's that person that's answering.
Yeah.
I've known them already, or if they're even at the door, same thing.
Yeah. It's so important. It really kicks off the bond of rapport. So
Mhm.
how do you handle the too busy? Well, like we've got doctor's appointments, you got kids coming over, we got to babysit the grandchildren. It's just, yeah, we're just way too busy.
Yeah, I'm way too busy too. But they do have me out in that area tomorrow. So I do have some time in the morning, or do you think some in the afternoon would work? And they go, no, Mike, I'm really too busy. Okay, so what you got going on tomorrow? I've got doctor's appointments. Okay, what are your appointment times? Whatever times they tell me. Okay, I look at the last thing that they tell me. Oh, I work. What time do you work till? I work every day till 5 o'clock. Okay, so it's safe to say you'd be home around 6 or 7. I didn't ask about setting the appointment. I just said, hey, would it be safe to say you'd be home by XYZ time? And they go, yeah. I go, perfect. My name is Mike. I'll be driving a white Jeep. I'm a taller, good looking guy with glasses. I'll be swinging by at the end of the day around 6, 7 o'clock. I appreciate you. I look forward to meeting you. You take care and you have a great rest of your night tonight, Alex. Bye bye. And
It's so funny.
dude, when I draw it off like that and
I
I'm
know.
just like smooth with it at the end, they tell me, thanks, Mike. You have a great night too. they don't even think about it. Like I set up the appointment with them and they're like, oh yeah, you have a great day too, Mike. I'm
That's
like,
the ultimate in mirror and matching. Because when they mirror match you that's when you ultimately created the ultimate rapport. Man, dude, this is so funny because I used to teach what I used to call it is go through their schedule, answering the time each would go through their schedule. Because when people say they're busy, it's because they have one thing in the morning, one thing in the afternoon, and one thing in the evening. Oh, I'm just busy. You know, when you go through their time slots like you did, you're going to find time for them, and you're only in there an hour anyway.
and I shoot from the hip on it too, man. I don't let any
Sure.
hesitation come through. And if they say they're too busy, they've got this going on. I tell them the exact same thing that they say. I've got too many. I got too many appointments. I got too many appointments tomorrow too. So I just throw it right back at them to kind of shake them up a little bit, and
Yeah.
then I take I take the control, put the hands right back on the steering wheel, and I just go
Yeah.
and try to get that
Yeah.
time.
Because you're asking questions. You're
Mm-hmm.
asking questions, staying in control, asking questions. That's very cool. And then, so you have to come by my house. How do you handle that objection?
Yep, that's a good one. So why do you have to come over? Oh, so they have me out there. I have to verify who you are, so your identity, and make sure I get through all the information that you might be able to qualify for. But it doesn't take too long, about 10, 15 minutes. I'm already out in the area too, Alex. So I got a meeting right down the street, like around 10. Would you be home like around 11-ish? Or do you think something at the end of the day would be better?
Right. Right. Okay. I like it. So you just sort of acknowledge and step aside and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. So I had someone ask, when you say program, like dropping off you say you drop off information. You're not dropping off a packet, are you?
No, so when I get there, I'll have some people once in a while be like, "Oh, where's the package?" You're like, "Oh, it's the information, and I have got my ATM." I'd be like, "Yeah, I got to get through the info with you. Just takes a few minutes. So, how long you been living here? Do you have any family in this area? Okay. And then I've got a picture of MJ and Kate on my phone. And I see, you know what, I grew up in the burbs, but I live, just north of here, with my wife right here. And then this little guy is my son, MJ. He just made one back in January. You got any little ones like grandbabies, anything like that? I just get right into the rapport as quick as possible with
Absolutely.
them and
Yeah.
then transition into ATM.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you used to get that. Well, I thought you were just going to drop off a packet of stuff. It's like, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Let
Why you're
me,
there is why you're there.
yep. And they're like, what is it? What is let me show you. I'll show you. So how long you been
Sure.
living here, man? How's your day going? Great. Awesome. How long you been living here? And if they're like still pushing, I'm just like, you want to sit down outside? We can sit down outside. That's fine. And just normal rapport 101 and then
Yeah,
transition into it.
absolutely. Yeah, you're not an a-hole or anything. You're just there, just doing your job, man. You're doing your job, doing a service. That's very cool. I love the consistency. I love how you've made it very consistent across the board with clients. And then you know what to expect. You get what you get and you know what to expect. So that's rocking, dude. When I'm thinking about 30 to 50 leads a week, with our discount code, dude, that is like not the return on investment is huge, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, it's been great, man. I've been loving it. And it's like John's been amazing. He's great with communication. So,
Yes.
we've got leads coming through. You shoot him a text about something. And I'm not a picky dude. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, like this one was just way
Yeah.
off or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, I get 30 to 50 a week. I can't track every single lead, but I am picky about my zip codes though, because when I go out and I'm running business and if I get in an area that I'm just like, I can't do anything, I might get shot. In Chicago,
Yeah.
there are areas that I just
Sure.
like I can't do it. Because I've had situations in Chicago where I've had a close call. One time on the front porch, I had 7 gunshots in the backyard, and I use
Whoa.
that. Yeah, dude, I use that story to sell accidental death because those policies will pay out on stray bullets.
Yeah.
And so like that zip code is no longer in my bang bang leads, but I've stayed consistent with looking back at my schedule, and I'll say, all right, I use Google calendars and I'll have all my schedule, all my appointments there. And after I leave that home, I'll write how many apps I wrote and then, the total of the monthly and then the info on it and the carrier and whatnot. Okay. So then if it was something a no show or that area, I'll write it on there too. And then when I'm looking at my next lead order, I'm going to take a look at the zip codes of all those appointments and I'm going to say, look, this one just has not been working out. I'm going to pull it from there and I'll text that over to John and say, dude, can you just pull this zip code? Just it's not working. Like I know it'll affect a little bit on the timing of the leads, but I'm in a big city, so that, I can do that pretty easily, right? But yeah, he does a great job of pulling it and just making sure that it's good going forward. So the communication is huge with him, and he's been awesome.
Wow. No, what? That's something I just learned. I didn't know that you can exclude certain zip codes in your order. That's very cool.
Yeah. Hopefully John doesn't get pissed at me for saying that. I'm kidding. No, he wants us to be successful. So obviously, when he has leads
Yes.
to produce for you, he's gonna have no issue with just saying, okay, yeah, the timing might be a little bit different on it, but that's the biggest thing. And I tell it to all the guys in our team too, just communicate with him. He wants you to succeed. There's no reason for him to sell you 20, 30 leads and he's not running to the bank on it and being done with it. He
Yeah.
wants to be consistent.
One thing for people, John Davis, who owns Bang Bang Leads, used to be in my organization under Leventovich out in St. Louis. So he actually used to run work protection appointments for a long time with us and did pretty well. He also had, I think, a PNC agency. He was doing a lot of different things. He's always Mr. Entrepreneur. And then he launched out with this endeavor. So it was, so John knows what we go through. He knows exactly what we go through. So it's not like some vendor who decided to get into lead generation. John knows the deal, man. And so trustworthy guy, and I have a great relationship with him. So
Sure.
he's been able to do some great things for us. So, dude, what any other tips, man, for people to like? Okay, so you're building an agency, you're building a team, and so you're out there producing and performing it at such a high level. How do you manage your time to be able to recruit and build an organization as well?
Absolutely. So I do team calls with my guys. So I do Tuesday evenings. I'll get the team together for 45 minutes, right around there. We'll do some training. I'll have guests come on. We go through the weekly numbers, for the goal setting. Say, hey, this is where you're at towards Ireland. This is who submitted what in the last week, and then also, the recruiting new team members, all of that. So I keep touch with the whole team on each week, Tuesday evenings, and we do a little training. And then I'm just constantly talking with my guys. I have consistency with, texting my guys in the morning saying, hey, what's going on today? What do you got going? Let's catch up. So like days like today where, I'm not in the field, I can spend a little bit more time doing that. And then I put out ads. I do ads just like everyone else. So I've got Craigslist where people are, filling up my calendar, setting up times with me. And the cool thing with like Calendly, which is like one of
Yeah,
those links you can just click on and book it. I control my schedule, dude. So it's like they can only book on there
yeah,
on which I give them. So when I give them like Thursdays and Tuesdays or the evenings during the week for them to book on my calendar, it's like I've got that time already open because I'm not running the business or I'm not doing something else. So I can answer those or I can make those recruiting dials too. And then the cool thing is, man, it's like it all goes back to the numbers because I know my numbers. I know what it takes for me to set up the 10 appointments for that next day, 2, maybe 3 hours to get it done. So even when I travel, so like last week, I went to Fort Lauderdale. I ran a hotspot, Jason and Olga's. They were
yeah,
their accounts. I helped them out. I did that hotspot that Thursday night. Well, that Thursday night, I was in Florida. Well, Friday morning, I flew from Florida at about 4:30 to get back to Chicago at 8, and I had a full day of appointments. And I did that because, or how I was able to do that, I made my dials in Florida for about 2 some hours to set up
yeah,
my 10 appointments for that Friday. So it's like you can still do these travels and keep up with your agents, see them face to face, have your own schedule to go run appointments. Like, dude, I could have just been in Florida and just kicked it at the beach all day on that
yeah,
Thursday.
yeah.
But I got a nice cup of coffee because that's my thing. I went to a
Good.
cool coffee roaster in Miami, tried that out because I love doing that when I travel. So I still have that fun aspect to it. And then I took the time and I made my dials and I talked to new agents and I got my next day done. So it wasn't, you know, the the day after getting sucked up by travels is
Yeah,
like just be most effective with it.
yeah, I love it. See, there is always more time than you think, and it's amazing how you fart around time without realizing. It's trying to get effective, right? Being effective, and when you've got a family, a growing family like you do, and a wife, and then you have agents that depend on you. It's amazing what you can do if you actually utilize all the time effectively. So I think you've really mastered the time management part of it, because agents always say, well, I don't got time to recruit because I'm trying to produce. It's like, oh, dude, come on, man. That's just an excuse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a big thing too on that was getting an outside perspective.
Yeah.
Um, not only from like Diane and like my upline people I do the business with, but you're going to learn the most by the people that are closest to you, and that was where Kate really stepped in, and she's been an amazing support here with me, and she's the one that's kind of noticed like you're kicking butt on the phone setting appointments really fast, like you can square that away in a different day and not take the whole day to do it and still have a solid week and still see you know your family on like a Saturday and spend that time there too. So it's not just me and my thoughts, it's like Kate
Yeah.
that saw it too. And
Confirmation.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I think that was a big thing too.
That's cool. That's very cool. I hear it already because we used to dial, back in the day, we used to dial Sunday nights, man. We used to dial Sunday nights.
Yeah.
Our people can get mad on Sunday. You go, gosh, some of my best appointments were booked on Sunday night. I even ran appointments on Sunday afternoon. I remember I did a great appointment on a preacher who was in between services and wanted me to come by like Sunday afternoon, and I was like cracking up and also again snippets of time. I only on Sundays I would only work from like 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And it was amazing how many people would book appointments with me from 1 to 4 because I didn't have in my mind, well, no one's going to want to book appointments at, on Sundays, because they're going to be at church. It's like, oh, come on, man. If they're one of those two services people, they're going to do it in the morning and in the evening. They're going to have the afternoon. They spend 2 hours at lunch with their buddies and then they come home to take a nap. Well, that's when I can meet with them. So any time you say, or categorically that, oh, it's not going to work, because it's like, dude, I can show you people that are killing it because you think like that, but they're taking all your clients because they're willing to work, so love it. I love your schedule. So I'm going to open up for questions. Anyone have any questions for my man Mike? Just hit the unmute button or space bar. Yeah, crickets. It's always like this, but we're pretty comprehensive. I always like to interview in a very comprehensive way. So I'll just leave it up to my excellent interview.
I actually have a question.
Yeah, hey
my
John.
man over there. First of all, incredible what you're doing over there, man. Like, blessings, right? You're killing it.
Thanks, man.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
I got a question for you. Like, when you're calling these people and you said you're setting up, so you're doing the Monday and Wednesday setups?
Yeah. So when I call Sunday, I only set up Monday appointments, and then I call Tuesday and I set up Wednesday appointments, and then I call Thursday and set up Friday appointments.
I see. So you're just setting them up for the next day. You're not going even.
Only the next day.
All right. Then when you get somebody that they want to think about it, how they see, you don't close them on the spot. How long do you give them before you hit them back?
Are you talking about closing for an appointment or closing for a sale?
At the point of sale.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what the reason is that they need to think about it and try to uncover the true barrier that's stopping them. You ask questions, if they say it's too expensive, I'll ask them what they mean by that. Too expensive compared to what? What is the really underlying issue with them? There's a really, really good book that I picked up pretty recently. It's called Socratic Selling. I can tell you the author really quick, or Alex.
How do you spell Socratic? I'm not. That English wasn't my
it's
my big thing in high school.
Dude, I haven't started. I just started reading books since I started working with the Alliance, so I'd never really read before. So
I'm an audio guy, and I am the constant nemesis to spell check. It's always like, cannot even find what you're talking about. It's like not even close. What's the name of that book?
So 1 sec. I'm going to give this to Alex. I think this is only going to go to you, Alex, but it's called Socratic Selling by Kevin Daly. All right. So that book, that's going to give you the questions to ask people, so you get them to start thinking a little bit differently. One of the big things that I've kind of picked up recently, especially from that book, and kind of what I was talking about in the beginning too, was like, hey, what if you sit down with someone that already has life insurance, burial insurance, and you have to figure out what other products can work for them? Well, I do these soft closes with people where I'm asking them if this program that I'm talking about would make sense for them. Like, I figure out, okay, you got any history of heart attack, stroke, or cancer? Do you have any grandkids? And then I just kind of get into that type of program or product info, and I ask them if that would make sense. Now, if someone is giving me the objection, like I want to think about it, hey, I understand, I get it, but the insurance carriers, they do have to think about you as well. So what exactly are you needing to think about, or what do you mean by that exactly? And I try to just open them up a little bit more to kind of see what that why they need to think. Can they not make the payment this month? Do they need to start it next month? That's a really big one that most people don't really understand. Like when you sit down with someone to sell them insurance, sometimes they think they have to pay right today. And if they're Social Security, fixed income, you're working with seniors, they may think that, and they just are like, no, like I just need to think about it. I need to worry about my numbers. Well, maybe they didn't know that they could start it next month on the 1st or the day after they get their money next month. So I would recommend read that book, man. That'll help you out with kind of opening up your client a little bit more to kind of see which direction you go with them.
I appreciate that. And I didn't know that you said about the stray bullets. That's awesome. I didn't actually know that. I just text a couple of guys I know that are in the hip hop industry as you were saying that. I'm like, straight bullets. like, that's all. People live in bad neighborhoods. They got to worry about that, man. That's a legitimate concern. But I appreciate you. And it's funny, Alex, how every time you're on these calls and you interview someone successful in the alliance, it always comes back with the sun being the question-based selling. Like it's all from a Sandler approach, kind of, this Socrates, you're asking questions, and the key is there, right? The golden nugget of what everybody's doing at the alliance is there. They're working and they're asking questions. So I appreciate you taking the time out. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome. I can't wait to get that book. Yeah, we preach staying in control and asking questions all the time, and that's great. Wow, you've really figured this out, man. You really have figured this out. So that's awesome to be that efficient. And but like you said, you're in your way there. So anyway, well, good stuff. Anybody else? Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll let Mike get to finish up his booking his 10 appointments. All right, cool. Well, Mike, you and Kate and MJ are special to us, and we appreciate you so much. And man, I love it, man. You're kicking butt. You're a great example, and can't wait to see you at Breakthrough.
Heck yeah, dude. Fired up for that. Excited to, man. Thank you so much for having me on here, man. Really appreciate it. Love jumping on here. Like I said, you guys are an amazing group. Alex, your organization is blowing up, dude. And I'm chasing after you, dude. So you're doing amazing. And I'm just trying to level up every time, man. So hopefully we have some good news in the next one.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Well, I have no doubt that you are on your way and you'll be there. It's always it's never the destination, it's the journey, and the journey of you being able to help other agents, not even in your group, always comes back to you in tenfold, so that's something I've learned my time in the business, and you are definitely following that path. So man, God bless you, Kate and MJ. Thank you, dude. We appreciate it so much. You killed it.
Thanks, dude.
Okay.
Have a good one, guys.
God bless. Take care.
Yeah.